Page 21, London Bridge. This piece we have a dotted rhythm added in, and hopefully you already know about dotted rhythms. In case you don't, I'll explain it to you. Right there in the first measure, at the right hand, you have a dotted quarter note. Well, in this piece, the common time, a quarter note gets one count. The dot on any note, doesn't matter, gets half the value of the note, whatever it is. So if a quarter note gets one count, the dot is going to get a half a count. So it is. Put them together, and it's 1.5 counts. Another way of looking at it, if a quarter note is worth 2/8 notes, and it is, that makes the dot worth 1/8 note. Just put them together, so a dotted quarter note is the same as 3/8 notes. Well, then we need the equivalent of 4/8 notes to make up 2 beats, right? And that's why they have an eighth note there for the other one. So it's like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. It's like 3/8 notes. Eighth note, eighth note, eighth note type thing. It's really not hard if you think about it. With the left hand, the eighth note comes in between the second and third beats, right? It comes halfway in between. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2. That's the way it works. Here's another one on the second line. It's the same rhythm, different notes. Well, a half note is equal to 2 quarter notes. So a dotted half note is equal to 3 quarter notes because the dot gets half of the value of the half note. If a half note gets 2 counts, the dot gets 1, right? Well, look at the last measure of this piece. In the right hand, you have an E and a C. That C is a dotted half note. That gets 3 counts because the dot is 2 for the half note, 1 for the dot. Put them together and use a calculator if you need to. I don't care. There is a study at the bottom of the page again for the left hand. I think I talked about that. No, I didn't. Again, you're up here. It's that same Alberti bass. Now you're using a B. In the last line in the second measure, look at the fingering for the right hand. They have a 2 and they have a 1 in parentheses above it. In this piece, the right hand is actually in this D position. You're not in a C position. So when you get down to that last line, the thumb is on that note. And that's what they're trying to tell you here. Oh, by the way, the thumb's on that note. See, I've seen this used in multiple ways. It's a little weird. They could be telling you the thumb's on that note and they want you to use the second finger, so just be prepared that you got to move your hand a little bit so your second finger can get there. Get the thumb out of the way so the second finger can play it. You're actually moving your whole hand down one note. You're coming down to C position. Because once you play it, then you bring the rest of the hand down so your little finger plays the G. Because the little finger, let's see, the ring finger was playing the G, but now it's a little. Some places will use that parentheses thing to give you an alternate fingering. They would say, you're here, you can go ahead and use the thumb if you want, but then you got to come down a little bit for the fifth finger playing the G. Now, as I've said in a previous video, these fingering they provide is actually just suggestions. Okay, there are alternates, there are other ways of doing it in most cases. For instance, in those last 2 measures, we could just stay in the D position. Use the thumb on the D. Use fourth finger on the G, same one you've always been doing. Use in the last measure, use second finger on the E, and just bring the thumb down for the last note. That's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. Another way of looking at it is one time when you play it, use one fingering, and another use another fingering. It's okay if the piece is simple, but as we get into more complicated pieces, you got to settle in on your fingering and you got to stick to it. Changing the fingering later on a hard piece is almost like relearning the piece. It's like I struggle with that. Let's play this together. I'll give us 4 counts. I will play. Oh, right. All right, hand here, here we go. 1, 2, Ready, go. 1 and 2.